So here we are. You got your New Year's resolutions. You decided after partying up a little too much over the holidays, drinking, eating, whatever else, you're going to spend the next 30 days. Forget about the no alcohol stuff, but yeah, you're going to start detoxifying your body. That's the big word. That's been the buzzword now for a few years, right? The question is, do any of those products that claim or promise to detoxify your body actually do anything other than perhaps take your money? So I wanted to get our friend Dr. Chris Labos to weigh in on this because, as I said, this is the kind of a story that makes its way into the beginning of every new year. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and do a cleanse for 30 days. It's good. It'll get rid of the toxins in my body. And then I'm reading the story and seeing that there is apparently, I shouldn't say apparently, according to the studies that I've seen, no real proof to that fact. In fact, you may actually do some harm. So let's find out more. Dr. Chris Labos is a cardiologist with a degree in epidemiology and a regular contributor here on CJAD 800. Chris, first of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, thank you. You read this. I sent you the article just to have a look at, and I'm sure you've heard this as well. We all, right, beginning of a year, want to do better. We figure a 30-day cleanse of some kind, detoxifying, makes sense, does it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Here's the problem. The word detoxify has essentially become almost a red flag for pseudoscience because it doesn't actually have any precise medical definition. You do not have toxins floating around in your body. You don't have to do anything to detoxify your kidneys or detoxify your liver. Your kidneys and liver are going to detoxify you. There are actually very complex physiological mechanisms that exist to get rid of any noxious substances that might enter your body, which, do from the food we eat, from the water we drink. So there's nothing that you need to do as a person to detoxify. That's not really a medical thing. And most certainly, you shouldn't be spending money to buy juices or cleanses or colonics or whatever. That's not going to make you any healthier. It might make you feel better. You may enjoy the taste if you like spinach or what have you. But it's not something that you need to do as a person. You should definitely eat more fruits and vegetables and cut back on your alcohol consumption, but you should be doing that year-round, not just in January.
We always like to have stuff that's fact-based. So when I said about scientific literature, there is nothing in the scientific literature, and this is not new, this goes back now years, right? There have been meta-studies here that shows that these things work at all. To your point, your organs, your kidney, your liver, etc., that's what they do. They're detoxifiers, right? So by adding anything, or you're not making them work any quicker, any more efficient.
No, and even something as simple as water. I mean, a lot of people think like, I'm going to drink more water. Right. It's going to help flush stuff out of my kidneys. All that's happening is you're just producing more dilute urine and more of it, so you'll go to the bathroom more often, but it doesn't make your kidney any better or any more efficient. The only medical situation in which drinking water makes a difference is if you have a kidney stone, but most people don't have a kidney stone at any one given point in time. So apart from that situation, or if it's, very hot outside and you've been exercising, but it's obviously not very hot outside these days. So there's no reason why somebody, listening to us right now has to go out and purposely drink water. You drink water if you're thirsty, but it's not going to flush out your kidneys. Your kidneys are going to keep working at the same rate regardless of what you put into your body.
So here's another question. I've been saw a couple of posts on social media basically trying to sell you on the idea, and there's nothing to buy here, so I want to point that out. They're not selling you a formula of any kind, but the idea is somehow someone has determined that drinking lemon in water in the morning, even before you have that cup of coffee, is actually good for you. But they said, no, not just, squeezing a lemon. Take the entire lemon, put it in, like a whole bunch of, 2 liters or a liter of water, blend the whole thing up, peel, seeds, the whole deal, and that's what you end up drinking in the morning. And that's supposed to, here we go again, cleanse or prepare your body to be cleansed before you have whatever you eat in the morning. What do you think of that?
No, I mean, you're basically describing lemonade without the sugar in it. So if you like lemonade and want to cut back on sugar, then good, go nuts. Uh-huh. But this sort of it borrows from this idea of like, there's a little bit of acid. Acid is going to break down fat. The reality is your body is going to neutralize that acid very, very quickly. So nothing that you eat is going to change the pH balance in your body to any measurable degree. If your body's acidity or base status starts changing, it's usually because you've gotten seriously sick and your kidneys have shut down. Nothing you eat or drink is going to change that.
Okay, so no lemon in the morning, no lemon juice. None of the. I read another thing actually just the other day on protein powders. Where are you on those?
So I remember the scene of The Simpsons where Homer was trying to like gain weight to like work from home, and he goes and he buys this protein bulking powder, and the guy at the health food store looks at him and says, "Good thing for you, this stuff doesn't work." You know, here's the thing: nobody in Canada is protein deficient, right? I mean, unless you have this very, very restrictive diet. But I mean, from a practical point of view, anybody eating normal food is not going to become protein deficient. Young men in particular are not protein deficient. So the idea that you need to eat this to bulk up, no. I mean, here's the thing. Again, where this comes from, this is basically a spin-off of the Atkins diet. If we go back to its inception, like cut out carbs, eat more protein, which is fine as far as it goes of the sense of cut out carbs, but to purposely go and take a protein supplement is not going to change anything. The whole point was eat less sugar, get carbs out of our diets that we can, sort of stem the tide of obesity that's, prevalent in North America.
Okay. So a question from a texter as we speak. If your body actually did that, as you're saying, clean itself, detoxify itself on its own, how come there's so many sick people?
Well, because first of all, people get sick from infections, right? Why do people have pneumonia? It's because bacteria entered your body. Why do people have heart disease? Well, it's because it's the slow buildup of plaque in your arteries over the course of 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Why do people get cancer? It's because eventually cells keep replicating, and at some point during your life, an error is introduced into the process where the cell has now mutated, and it keeps spreading and spreading. That's what cancer is. It's a mutated cell. All diseases have an origin. The problem with the whole detoxify trend is that it tries to reduce everything down to a single cause. And that's implausible. Diseases are different. That's why the different treatments are different. And so we have a lot of different diseases in this world because the only safe bet in life is that you're not going to get out of it alive. But we should also point out life expectancy in this country keeps going up. So I think a lot of the anxiety that fuels people into like looking to these trends is unfounded because, frankly, we are better off now than we have ever been. People think we're seeing more cancer in this country. We're seeing more cancer because the population is aging. But once you adjust for age and population size, cancer risk has actually gone down. You are at lower risk. You as an individual are at lower risk for cancer than your parents and grandparents were, largely because we smoke less. So we know what works. We know what we have to do. Diseases exist. But it's not because there are some unseen toxins in our body. And, we are actually healthier now than we have been in the past, despite, everything that we talk about in terms of obesity and all that.
To your point about longevity, and yes, we're living longer now, but then I have this argument with my wife all the time who will simply say, yeah, sure, we're living longer, but we're living sicker. In other words, if you can live to 90 or 95, or if you're lucky enough to live to 100, but people are sicker longer, that we're just keeping them alive.
Well, no, and I don't agree with that. So go and look at pictures of people from like a century ago. People in their 20s, they looked old. Like we are staying younger for longer. I mean, you look at somebody in their 50s now, they do not look like a 50-year-old from, a generation back. Mm-hmm. So yes, we're living longer, but we're also extending. Like it used to be that somebody died in their 50s and you said, oh, he was an old man. He died at the end of his life. Now somebody dies in their 70s and you're like, oof, they died young. Like you go speak to most people in their 70s and 80s. They are still functionally independent, going about their business. That was not true a generation ago. So yes, we've extended the human lifespan, and yes, we have more chronic diseases because you're not dying from your first heart attack anymore. But people are still functionally independent well into their 70s, 80s. And in fact, there are people who are now starting to push 100. It may be that in 20 years, the idea of living to 100 and being like functionally independent, that may not be science fiction. That may end up being a reality.
Last thing I want to ask you, and I'm curious, we started watching this. Have you seen this documentary, Don't Die, The Man Who Wants to Live Forever, Brian Johnson?
No, but it sounds interesting.
So you need to watch it. It really is quite remarkable. But he has decided that, and I think he's taking 52 pills a day, and all his markers, and he's chronicling all this, right, are designed so that every level he needs to be at, he has reached, right? And his physical age and his actual, health age, if you will, he's 7 years younger, I think, than he actually is. And he's only in his 50s now, and he plans to do this forever. So, but maybe after you see, we can talk about that.
I'm curious. The problem with this is like I almost feel like you should live to 100 and then sell your book, right, about how to live forever. You should, like, the proof should be in the pudding. Like if he
Fair
if he
point.
ends up,
Okay.
if he ends up dying in his mid-60s, I'm not
Yeah.
sure it was that great a plan.
Excellent point. Dr. Chris Labos. Chris, thank you so much. We'll talk again soon. It's called Don't Die, The Man Who Wants to Live Forever. It's on Netflix. Let me know after you've seen it, okay?
All right, cool.
We'll talk soon.